If you're an Amazon seller and you're not using SellerAmp, you're seriously leaving a ton of money on the table. Over the last 2 years, this tool alone has helped me to scale my business to over $1.4 million on Amazon, and it's helped me to speed up my entire process of analyzing deals, figuring out what products to purchase, and it's helped me to keep my account safe. In today's video, I'm gonna walk you through the 9 features that I'm using every single day and my team, because I have a couple virtual assistants that help me to source deals using SellerAmp. I'm gonna walk you through the 9 features that I use every single day that you should too, that can help you to grow your business. And by the way, before we get started, I wanna give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is SellerAmp. If you follow my channel, you know that I don't have a ton of sponsors on this channel, only a couple tools that I use every single day. And SellerAmp is one of the most important tools that I use every single day. So without further ado, smash that like button and let's get into these 9 features that I use in my business that you should be using as well. All right, let's dive into feature number 1, which is the mobile app. And the mobile app saves me a ton of time when I'm out doing retail arbitrage. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I do mostly online arbitrage, but every now and then I go into stores like Marshall's, Walmart, Target, and I wanna be able to scan the products, especially the products on the clearance shelf, to know which products are gonna make me money and which products are just, losers. So the cool thing is SellerAmp has a mobile app, and all you have to do is open up the app and you could just start scanning the barcodes of products to see which ones are gonna make you money and which ones are gonna pretty much lose you money. So as you can see on the screen, you could see me doing some sourcing and analyzing deals with SellerAmp, but that's the Chrome extension. But the cool thing is the mobile app has all the same features that you would normally use with the Chrome extension, maybe sourcing from home on your computer. Also, if you didn't know, SellerAmp actually came out with a new feature called speed mode. So now when you're out in the stores, Marshall, so on and so forth, scanning, you could turn on speed mode and you'll be able to source and scan so many more products faster without having to wait 5 to 10 seconds for it to load the information on every single product that you scan. If you're selling new products, if you're doing retail arbitrage, you've got to make sure to use a SellerAmp mobile app. Feature number 2, get ungated quickly on products that you're restricted on. So when you're selling on Amazon, there's going to be certain products that you're able to sell without having to do anything. You're ungated. And then there's going to be products that you're either restricted on, hard restriction, which means you can't sell it pretty much no matter what unless you send in invoices, or there's something called a manual ungate. So a manual ungate, you could click the button that's inside of SellerAmp. You could see it right over here. And when you click that button, it'll open up Amazon Seller Central. And essentially what you're trying to do is get auto ungated. Now, again, there'll be one of 2 options. Number 1, SellerAmp will help you to get ungated because it's an auto ungate. Or number 2, Amazon's going to require invoices. So in that situation, you could either go ahead and find a distributor and, get the invoices, buy the products and get ungated that way. But I just love how fast it is to get ungated on products using SellerAmp. Feature number 3, set the buying criteria to make sure that you are sourcing smarter. So for me, what I do is I set my filters to $8 minimum profit and 50% ROI. So when you're actually sourcing and you're putting in your buy cost and your selling price, SellerAmp will actually break down what your ROI, what your profit is, and what your break-even price is. And if it meets your criteria, like in my example, minimum of an $8 profit and 50% ROI, it'll light up green. That means it's a buy. It's a good deal to buy based on your, buy cost and selling price. If it's under that $8 profit and under that 50% ROI, which you can change, you can go into the settings and you can adjust this, then it'll show the metrics in red, which means it's not a good buy. But I love that you could go in, you could set your minimum criteria, and then when you're analyzing deals, you can quickly see green for buy and red for pass. Feature number 4. Now, this might not apply to you unless you do what I do. I buy my items on eBay. I flip them on Amazon. Now, we are sourcing probably 95% of our deals through a software called Replin Catcher, which pretty much scans and tracks millions of products on eBay 24/7. And that's how we do most of our sourcing. But a cool feature of SellerAmp is they actually have a little eBay button that's built in. And I'll show you what that looks like right here. So you could use this with, when you're out in the field using the mobile app, or the way I use it is when I'm analyzing deals and I'm on SellerAmp, I'll click the little eBay button, and essentially what it does is it does a reverse search of the UPC on eBay. It'll open up the eBay listings and it'll show you like all of the listings that are available for that UPC. So this is a great way to be able to source from eBay to Amazon without having to subscribe to a tool like Replin Catcher. So this is awesome, guys. Like if you're thrifting or you're selling items all the time and maybe you want to be able to see if there's any deals available on eBay for that specific specific item, literally SellerAmp will do a reverse search of that UPC, filter it, find the item at your specific price, or make a best offer on eBay, which is great. And bada bing, bada boom, the profits are coming soon. Feature number 5, and this is one of my favorite features of SellerAmp. They have a built-in Keepa chart, okay? So this right here is pretty much worth the subscription alone because Keepa actually just raised their prices, and I think their plans are gonna now be like over $30 a month. It used to be like $19 a month. Now it's over $30 a month. So with SellerAmp, and again, you can check out a free trial down below at rakeandprofit.com/SellerAmp. With SellerAmp, they have a built-in Keepa chart. They also have a bunch of other features as well, which I'm gonna talk about. I don't wanna spoil the surprise. I was gonna talk about the buy box analysis tool, but I'll talk about that in a minute. You can literally get a dynamic Keepa chart and you can see all the information that you would need to see. Now, there are some, benefits of having a Keepa subscription, like using Keepa Product Finder, and you could set up alerts and different things. But for the average reseller, you just wanna know the offer count. You wanna be able to see the ranks. You wanna be able to see, the price history, and that's all built into SellerAmp. So before we ever buy an item, we're always going into SellerAmp. We're looking at the Keepa chart to figure out what's the true intrinsic value of this item. Of the offer count, is it going up or down? Is the rank consistent? Is it getting faster selling or slower selling? This is huge. This is one of the #1 features that we use inside of SellerAmp. Feature number 6, and this was the feature that I was just about to spoil because this is one of my favorite features inside of SellerAmp, and this is going to be the buy box history, okay? So SellerAmp shows which sellers have won the buy box, okay? At what price they've won the buy box and how often they have won the buy box. And this helps you to set more realistic and profitable pricing strategies. So for example, say you're thinking about buying an item and you're wondering what percentage of the buy box is going to all of these sellers. You can actually go into SellerAmp, and I'll share a little screenshot here, and you can see how the pie is being split up. Is it all going to Amazon? Is Amazon taking the whole entire buy box, or is the buy box being shared equally amongst other sellers? For me, before my team and I ever buy an item, we're always looking to make sure that the buy box is being distributed somewhat evenly. The worst thing you can do is buy an item that looks insanely profitable and then Amazon stealing 99% of the buy box. Now, you could still make money with that method by undercutting Amazon, and there's other strategies, but I see a lot of sellers getting in trouble with this, so I really love this buy box feature. And not only is there the little pie chart, but you can see all the sellers who have been on a listing and what they've been winning the buy box at. Are they FBA? Are they MF? I mean, this is just a freaking game changer. Feature number 7, this is gonna be the quick info panel for just fast analysis, right? This really helps me a lot to analyze deals. So when you are, landing upon a specific Amazon sales page, a product page, the way that I use it is, I have the Chrome extension pop up over the screen, and I'm using the quick info panel to look at the bestseller rank. How fast is it selling? Where is the rank? What percentage is the rank in the category? I'm looking to see if there's any IP warnings, right? To be able to reduce risk. I'm looking to see, is it a meltable? Is it a hazmat? What's my eligibility? Can I sell this item? Am I gated on this item? So all of this is right within a single glance. And you could also scroll down. There's a bunch of different information. You could see like average ranks. You can see the average amount of offers on the listing. There's so much information, but I love the quick info panel because you could see all this information right here. And I mean, it's just very helpful. So it's a time saver. Feature number 8, if you're using BQool as your repricer, which I am, big shout out to BQool. I love BQool. They actually integrated with SellerAmp probably, I don't know, maybe about a year ago, but this is really great because in the past, when items would get checked into Amazon, we would have to go through this whole long-winded process to be able to get them pretty much active on BQool to have our items be active and reprice them. But now with the SellerAmp BQool integration is you can actually export them from SellerAmp into BQool. I have a video about this as well, so I'll put like maybe a video on the screen, or if you YouTube Rake and Profit SellerAmp BQool integration, I've got a whole video on it, but it's a huge time saver. So again, if you're using BQool, export this data after you purchase the item and it'll check your items into BQool so much faster. So when your items become available for sale, your repricing is going to be going down immediately. And last but not least, I mean, I always talk about this in all of my videos because it's a game changer for my business. SellerAmp allows me to be able to just accurately and quickly determine my profit and my ROI. So before I talk talked about how you can set a minimum buying criteria. So for me, it's usually 40, 50% minimum ROI and $8 to $10 profit. I talked about that, but what I really didn't talk too much about is the profit calculator and the ROI calculator. So essentially all you have to do is go in and you put in your buy price, you put in your selling price, and it'll break down all of your fees and tell you what your actual profit will be and what your ROI will be. And one thing that's really cool is you can also go into your SellerAmp settings and you could put in like miscellaneous costs for virtual assistants, maybe overhead for a prep center, or maybe any other fees that you aren't accounting for. And SellerAmp will take that into consideration and pull that out. So for example, in my business, I have about $7 in overhead between my VAs, my prep center, my team, my bookkeeper, my accountant. That all comes out to about $7 overhead before I even sell a product. So say for example, I find an item and it's gonna make me $20 profit. I can actually go in and put my $7 overhead into the settings. It'll save it forever and it'll pull that out. So it'll calculate my profit at 13 and my actual ROI based on those additional indirect expenses that I added into the system. This is really great because in the past, before I was using SellerAmp, I would be like, oh wow, this is awesome. I'm gonna make 50% ROI, $10 profit. But no, I really wasn't, because I wasn't taking into consideration all of my additional expenses. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed me sharing the 9 various features that I am using when it comes to SellerAmp in my Amazon business. Again, I can't say this enough. SellerAmp has really helped my business to grow, to be able to analyze deals quickly, to keep my account safe by seeing the offers, making sure the brand's not on the listing, making sure I'm buying items that aren't gonna tank in price, because you can monitor the offer count. You can see everybody on the listing, the buy box analysis, what they've been winning the buy box at, making sure I'm not overpaying for items, because that's a big mistake people make. They overpay for items because they don't know how to quickly access who's been on the listing and what price they've been winning it at over a 30-day, 90-day, 180-day, 1-year period. So I can't say thank you enough to SellerAmp, not only for sponsoring this video, which I certainly appreciate, but for just creating a really awesome tool that helps me in my business. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button. If you want to check out a free trial to SellerAmp, you can check the link down below. I also have a coupon code as well, where I believe you can save 50% off your first month. So definitely go ahead and check that out. And with that being said, much love. I'll see you in the next one.